Congress has changed. I was talking with Congressman Jordan about this, with the freshman class who came to save the country, literally. Congressman Joe Walsh from Illinois, you're one of those freshmen. It's not business as usual, is it?
Oh, gosh, no, Tony. And Colin, you're right. Look, this is going to take some wise old hands, but I'm one of 87 Republican freshmen who came here. I think the thing that makes this class so unique is we have such a high proportion of folks who've never run for anything before, never been elected to anything before. I think that's a wonderful thing. I say often that I'm not at all worried about my reelection. It drives my staff crazy. I could give a darn about my reelection. I'm on a mission here to stop my kids, your kids, our grandkids from becoming indentured servants. So we've got to do what's right, and whatever happens in 2 years, fine. But Colin, I think you're right. American people are with us. The first piece of legislation I introduced in the House, my maiden legislation 2 months ago, was this balanced budget amendment. When I saw that all 47 Senate Republicans signed on to the same darn thing, I thought, we've got to get something in the House.
You don't mind starting with a tough challenge,
No,
do you?
it hasn't been easy. But again, this is a revolution.
Yeah, this is a call to greatness. It really is.
I've taught American government. It's something I hope to go back to one day. This is something the country goes through once every 100-some years. So strap yourself in, buckle yourself up. This is going to be rough. But we're here to save future generations. It shouldn't be easy.
A couple of tweets that have come in, and I think we can repeat this over and over when it comes to, this is one of the questions, how can we illustrate the seriousness and the outcomes should we fail to act immediately? I mean, people get lost in the numbers. But let's put some flesh on this. I mean, what does it look like? How bad is it?
I think that's what separates what we're going through right now with times when we've been in fiscal crisis before. The numbers, you're right, just numb folks. But think about this. The President of the United States was elected 3 years ago. The Democrats ruled this city. Away they went. And the American people hopped up off their couches and they basically said, time out, this isn't right. Our government's doing things I'm not used to it doing. And all of a sudden, we saw the red ink start to add up. Jim Jordan said it, and I agree with him. Politicians don't lead this thing. There is a movement in this country. I've been called a Tea Party candidate. This movement of folks is bigger than either party. And Tony, you know this. What's interesting is this movement of Americans that's concerned, they're ticked off, they're frightened, has put their faith in the Republican Party one last time.
Yeah.
And if we don't deliver, if Republicans don't deliver these 2 years, watch the barn door. I don't know what's coming.
But people have a hard time relating to trillions, zeros that they can't even count, and so on. But there are some concepts that they get intuitively. They get the idea of loan-to-value ratio in their house. If there's a greater loan on their house than its value, they are underwater. Well, there's an analogy here. The total indebtedness to the GDP is roughly analogous to a loan-to-value ratio in your house. And if we get to the point where the total indebtedness exceeds the economy, we are on the backside of the power curve. Another way to look at the annual debt is that we're now borrowing roughly 40 cents on every dollar that's spent.
And that's gone.
That's like a family that earns $60,000 spending $100. They can't do that very long.
Turn your TV on and look at what's been happening in Greece. We are at the cusp of that. And again, Congressman Jordan said it well. We've been living off of the credibility of this country. You start to see interest rates go up, and they will. You're going to start seeing folks screaming, because then they're going to really feel this debt. And I'm also amazed by how young people get this. I hear a lot, Tony, from younger constituents in their 20s and 30s who are really awakening to this. You said it's a moral issue. This is a huge moral issue. How dare we enslave future generations? How dare we do that? And this is being led by you all, which is just wonderful.
Well, it's an inside-outside coalition. It really is perfect, because the leadership that you have shown, Congressman Jordan has shown, over on the Senate side, Senator DeMint, Senator Hatch, and everyone in between, and the leadership for it is growing. That's absolutely essential, but they need to hear from the folks, and the folks need to hear that that you all are listening so that they get more enthusiasm. And it can ratchet up on both sides. That's the way we achieve what right now looks implausible.
Absolutely. And again, no more political games. We want colleagues of mine to sign this pledge that they will not vote to raise the debt ceiling without cut, cap, and balance. That's a big task, but they need to commit to that.
But, Congressman, you said something earlier. You said the American people have put their trust in the Republican Party one last time. I want to ask you this because I don't think the Republicans got it on the CR, and the American people saw that, and the cuts that were there evaporated by the time the ink dried, and so now we're back at this again. This is a defining moment for the Republicans. I think the 2012 election hinges on what the Republicans do. Is the message getting through?
Slowly but surely, I think it is. Again, I was one of 59 Republicans that voted against those CRs. This is a bigger battle. And I think what's interesting is we're out front on this battle. A number of us were disappointed with our leadership, and again, they did the best they could, but we kept quiet and just voted against. The fact that we're now out publicly saying this is what we need, we're beginning to see leadership, I think, understand. Tony, you know, when you've been in this town so long, you forget what folks back home feel. This freshman class is almost the personification of what people back home feel.
Well, I'm an irrepressible optimist, and I thought I saw signs of optimism, ground for optimism today, when Majority Leader Cantor pulled out of those talks. Talk about that for a moment.
That was actually stunning. Because again, I said wonderful today. I probably shouldn't have said a wonderful development, but not a surprising development. I think he saw that that group was not where the American people are. They're not going to put out anything bold enough. Tony, you're right. We have got to be bold in our solution here. It's a revolution. You say that with a smile. That's a joyous thing.
It is.
Congressman Joe Walsh.
Tony,
thank you for your leadership.
Thank you.
And we're going to be with you all the way. And folks, I hope you'll be with him too. That website, cutcapbalancepledge.com.